All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tom Wong, and I'm here to just share a few thoughts on mobile learning, which is, I think, one of the fastest growing learning trends that we are seeing. So, mobile learning, if you ask people, probably majority of the people would just assume responsibly designed website. And if that really is the truth, I would say my talk will be really, really short, because I think everybody's LMS is already responsibly designed. So, ComScore, July this year, came out with a report that 90% of the mobile users are consuming their content on the mobile app, and only 10% is consuming their content on the mobile web. So obviously, if responsibly designed website is the whole solution, it doesn't quite match up with the reality we're seeing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to show how we at 360, when we design our learning management system, how do we try to identify the challenge in the mobile learning and what type of solution we came up with, and also share a couple case studies. First, mobile user behavior. So everybody here, I'm assuming, has a mobile phone. So what I'm going to say is going to be obvious, right? So you take your phone out when you're in line for a bus, for a coffee, between appointments, waiting for your flight. There's what I call pockets of time in people's life where there's really just perfect to take out your phone to do a couple things, and when your coffee is ready, you put your phone back in your pocket and you move on, right? So this is what I call short window of opportunities where you have user engagement. But this also means that this is a constantly interruption-filled user experience, and it doesn't really give a lot of time for user to concentrate on certain content. So really, when you think about these user behaviors, and you try to see it from a learning perspective and see how does that affect learning. At the same time, not only is user time constraint, there's also the network variability issue. What I mean by that is, you have good Wi-Fi at home and in the office, but you'll have almost no Wi-Fi in the hospitals, in the airplane, in the high-rise, or during the rush hour when everyone's on their phone. It's just bad Wi-Fi, right? So, and a lot of times when you are offline, it's actually when you have the most amount of idle time. It's when you really want to engage with the content. What we have done through just working with our clients is there's actually two ways that you can think of when you approach this mobile learning challenge. The first is completely on your own, right? So you have to rethink your content. What content really is suitable for mobile learning? So there's a few criteria that we have discovered. The first is it has to allow easy stop and start. So think about people take out their phone, they engage your content, and they put the phone back. So your content has to allow people to be able to start, stop, and resume. So, and also there needs to be a clear progression because the learner will engage your content over a long period of time in an interruption-filled environment instead of in one sitting. You need to show user where they were, where they are now, and where they're going to. And also, because you only get 5 to 10 minutes of their attention, they're not going to be able to read a white paper with tons of graphs and text, right? It's low concentration, so it has to be bite-sized content. And also, it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes at most, right? And lastly, if all your content is a SCORM package that's Flash-based, forget about it, right? So mobile device does not support Flash. So if your content is in that format, it'll be very difficult to move to the mobile learning environment. So here's just a few things that we have discovered that works really well with the mobile learning. Slides from board review sessions. You can imagine you can swipe through the slides, right? So that's a very short unit of education content. And the user can swipe through a few slides and stop and be able to continue swiping. So there's a clear progression. And also a few other things that's very suitable. Top 10 list, a quick reference guide, a short video clips or audio clips. One of the best candidates for mobile learning in our experience has been self-assessment exams, where you have an exam that has 100, 200, I have seen 700 questions. And what happens is each question is a perfect example of 5 minutes or so of a unit of content. They can start the question, they answer it, they have stopped. So this is a clear stop and resume aspect to it, and there's a clear progression as the learner goes through that exam. And also, because it's mobile devices in our phone, if you want to have drip content, a push notification so that the content get pushed in a spaced learning manner, mobile device is perfect for that. What's not suitable is just long PDFs, walls of text. Imagine you had to go through a PDF file. Every time you go to the PDF file, you have to sort of look for where you were the last time you looked at it. So that won't be suitable, right? Those are the content side of it, where you guys have to rethink on how you can reorganize your content. And then you have to look at the learning management platform. And what I'm going to describe here, is really just focus on the mobile learning aspect of it, because there's a lot of criteria that goes into a LMS selection, right? Such as, the administration, reporting, authoring, all that aspect, which, even though our system offered, that's not what we're going to be focusing here. We're just going to focus on which part of the learning management system do you need to offer the mobile learning. So the first, I would say, is, you got to allow people to download the content to their device. When they download the content to their device, they're no longer constrained by network. They can quickly open the app and engage your content. And but because of that, you need to have this full synchronization so that all the progress they have made on the mobile device is synchronized to the cloud, so that when they do have an hour to kill in front of the computer, they can engage your content on the website and they can resume exactly where they left off. And next couple points is really about just the user experience, right? So everybody understands the idea of a swiping, right? Like even a 2-year-old can understand the swiping, the zoom, the pinch. So it just comes naturally now. So you need to take advantage of those native experience and the user expectations. And also, your mobile learning delivery platform needs to be allowed quick in out, right? So if a learner has to open a browser, go to your learning management system, authenticate, then retrace their step to where they were, they only have 5 minutes. Now it's 2 minutes, and forget it. They're not going to engage your content on their device. So you have to allow the user to open the app knows exactly where they left off so that they can resume where they left off. So that's also very important. The last feature we believe is probably the most difficult is 100% function fidelity. What we mean by that is every single function feature you have on the website, you need to make it available on the app so that just like Facebook, right? Like you post a message or anything you want to do on the Facebook, you can do it on the mobile app. Same thing here, right? Whether it's answering a question, flagging a content, making comments, everything that the user can do on the website, you need to make sure it's available on the mobile device so that they don't feel like they're making sacrifice by going with the app. This is just a high-level overview of what our learning management system does. So it has a web component that does everything the website, a typical learning management system does, such as content creation, administration, reporting, basically everything that you think a learning management system needs to have, they have it. The only difference is when you publish the content, it's available both on the web format and on the mobile app, so that you know that the same content is being pushed so that the learner can engage the content in the best manner that's suitable. And everything is white labeled, so you can just, so it's your own, right? You're not downloading someone else's app that has your content. So I'm going to quickly jump into the case study. The first one is a self-assessment program at the ASSH, which is a medical society for surgeons of hands. They're pretty much the very similar offering that the other associations have, which is just a test prep product, right? So it's an exam, and but all their member has been clamoring for a mobile app. It just makes sense to have a mobile app. And also, self-assessment program is pretty common these days that you sort of need something to differentiate yourself in the marketplace. So because we've been doing this for a while, it was fairly straightforward to implement this for ASSH. So we, as soon as we get green light, we launched the system about in a week. And then right away, they were able to start using the system to start creating their questions and exams and do all the reviews. There's a whole workflow engine that's not really mobile focused, but it's sort of comes with a learning management system. And we were able to actually launch the app before they finish the questions. And that's just because the app is launched and they synchronize in real time. So when they do publish the exam, the app will just synchronize. So we launched about a month ahead of schedule, and it had tremendous feedback. So that's sort of what I claim to do. And see, here's just some screenshot of what it actually does, right? So you can see here's just a list of exams that's available. People, the learner, when they're in the office, when they have a good, strong Wi-Fi, they just open if it's already downloaded, or they click on download, and you just download the exam. When the exam is downloaded, or any content is downloaded to the mobile device, they no longer rely on the Wi-Fi anymore. They can take the content on the go, whether it's on the airplane, in the basement, in the hospital. They can answer the question, right? And the most important thing is right here. So as long as there is any Wi-Fi, the system will basically do a background sync with the cloud, so that whether it's bookmark, the progress, the comments, or any changes to the question will be synchronized with the device. So the learner never really lose their progress when they go through the system. So this is just also the iPad version of the same app. As you can see, app has a different form factor, so we take advantage of that. And obviously, when they actually have time to engage your content on a bigger format, it's available online as well. So how did we do? We actually had a great participation. 60% of the user used the mobile app to do their exam. And in aggregate, mobile app users finished the exam 72% faster than web users. And that's almost to be expected, right? Is you get more chances for the learner to actually take your content. So all those coffee breaks adds up to opportunities to do your exams. So we're able to finish the exam much, much faster. And also learners, we got the 85% very satisfied rating out of the Richter scale. So it was a very good success. So I'm going to jump to the next case study, which is a heart sound for American College of Cardiologists. So this is actually an interesting case, right? Every time I visit doctors, the doctor hear your heart murmur. I always ask, can you actually hear anything? Like, do you hear anything? Actually, they do. They can hear something, and that's through practice. Apparently, they had to hear the same sound 500 times in order to commit that to memory to treat a patient. So this is just a perfect example of how your content needs to be downloaded to the mobile device so that the learner can re-engage the content times and time again. So they have tried multiple times to do this because it's just such a strong case for mobile learning, but they couldn't get the best product out until they worked with us. So what we did is it's actually a very short turnaround, about a month and a half, just because they already have all the content. So we're able to quickly launch it. And the format is very similar, right? So you have the content, so the user browses through the content, and then they click on whichever content they want, they download it, and in this particular product, they happen to have a pre-test, the content they engage in, a post-test, and a little evaluation. So pretty standard. And the one thing I want to mention is they were finally able to use high-definition audio for their product, because for the long time, they had to downgrade it because to stream it over the web for people on their phone, it's just they couldn't handle the high definition. So, and it's 2 gigabytes when it's fully downloaded. But because users now can download it on their mobile phone, it's become a possibility. And this is just the iPad version of the same experience. And it still have a desktop version, the web version, but it's almost become a mobile-only product, right? So the outcome. So basically, what's really good about this product is it's the first sort of a transition into a mobile-only product because it has such strong fit to be a mobile learning product that listen on your phone, right? So that's number one. It increased sales, obviously, because it's a much better product. And the higher participation, just because user can actually engage the content much more frequently because it's on their device. They no longer have to stream. But this one I want to mention, this is actually kind of cool, is all their conferences now, they set up a learning center with 200 iPads, and they download this app and download the content, and this has become a mainstay in all their conferences. And the reason is it's extremely easy to set up because the app is downloaded, the content is downloaded to the app, So you don't have to worry about the Wi-Fi. And anybody here who has dealt with a conference knows Wi-Fi at a conference place is just horrible, right? So you don't have to deal with it anymore because it's already on the iPad. When the doctor comes in, they just, you rent out an iPad, and if they like it, they just buy it, right? So it's a very good sort of a learning lab environment for the user to try something and then decide to buy it. And it has been so successful that they have started rebranding the app to different affiliates and start doing sales through institutions. So it was overall a really good project. So to conclude, right? So I think when you can put your content on a mobile device and then allow users to take the content with you anywhere you go, it really opens up a lot of opportunities that you probably may have never thought of, right? So another association we're working with, they want to download large images. It's a pathology society, so they have large images that's 1 gig. And their learner need to zoom into the images. Before, it's impossible. Technically, it's just not possible over the web. Now that you can download to the iPad, you can zoom. Everybody knows how to zoom. So it's when you start thinking from that perspective of how your content can be downloaded to a mobile device and then synchronized in the background, there's a lot of opportunity that it opens up. So that's my quick spiel.